If you're watching this video, you're probably somebody that is looking for an e-bike, and there's so many to choose from. I get it. It gets confusing. And today I'm going to talk to you about a company that I've actually done a couple reviews for, the WALLKE. And if you never heard of this brand, these bikes have been legit. I've done multiple reviews and they have held up fantastic, even after a year or so of doing the review. And in today's video, we're looking at the all-new 2026 WALLKE H7 all-wheel drive. We're going to use and abuse. We're going to take it for a test drive. I'm going to show you what this thing can and can't do, if it really holds up to the spec sheets that they produce, and everything that I love about this bike and some of the things that I might not like about this bike. So if you're somebody that's looking for an e-bike, sit back, subscribe, hit the bell notification, let's get it going. So I do want to be upfront with you. They did send this over for a review, but they're not paying me and they're not telling me what I need to say. I can love it or hate it, and that's really up to me. And I will tell you this, I get a lot of offers to do e-bikes and I turn most of the garbage down. But these bikes here have been legit, so I'm going to take a look at this one as well. Oh, by the way, check out all the text I'm putting on this video. I'll leave specs for it, and well, you're good. So long story short, this is a step-through bike. So even if you're a male, you can ride this, but if you're a female and you have trouble getting all the way over the bike, you're going to be okay with this because it is the step through. And the H7 all-wheel drive is nice because, well, it's all-wheel drive. You can run it in front-wheel drive, you can run it with the back wheel, or you can run both wheels for more of an off-road experience, and I'll show you all that here in a little bit. Now, when you go to their website, you might be a little confused because they do have a lot of different e-bikes. I'll try to leave a discount code in the description if I have one, but I do want to let you know the all-wheel drive H7 is the white one we're looking at today, but they also have an all-wheel drive H9, and then the all-wheel drive Ultra, which is the one I really like the best out of all of these, to be honest with you. For some reason, it just fits me a little bit better, and it's only a single wheel, but it's awesome. The freaking thing's awesome. Now you can see that the other bikes, they fold. This one does not fold. However, the welds on this bike, that's the first thing I noticed. It is a legit process. I mean, I don't know if this is a machine or if somebody's over there welding these things, but whatever it is, they did a really good job. But let's talk about assembly first. Don't worry, we're going to go for a ride. Now, you're going to get mirrors with this. They give you a new brand of mirror, a new style of mirror compared to the other ones. And my son liked them so much, we actually bought other ones on Amazon and put these on. We got the Corvette sort of look, and they really do a good job allowing you to see behind you. So I thought that was awesome. You're also going to have to assemble the light, the front fender. You're going to have to put the front wheel on, and you're also going to have to assemble the seat and then put the pedals on. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's super easy to do. You're going to want two people though. This bike is not light, it's heavy. You're looking at like 100-some pounds. So when you're trying to flip this thing upside down to put that front wheel on, well, you want to do it on the soft box or grass. You don't want to do it on concrete because number one, it's going to scratch your bike. Number two, if it tips over, you can either get hurt or you're going to damage your bike. You also got to put the handlebars on, but very simple to do, and they give you all the Allen wrenches and everything you need. So basically the setup takes about an hour to put everything together, and that's with two people. Now on the website you can buy different accessories, but if you buy the kit with the bag, well, this bag is actually pretty real nice. Like, you can put different things in there such as money, your wallet, whatever you want to put in there. I don't know what you do, but it's a nice size bag and it actually straps down. Now it also comes with a back seat, and this is the one thing that really irritates me with a lot of the different bike companies, that they always give you the back seat, but they never give you the freaking foot pegs that you can put on the bike for somebody to ride on the back. I don't really know if anybody's going to ride on the back. I'm just saying, if you're going to give the back seat, supply the foot pegs. Why do I gotta buy this stuff? Anyway, you can't put the foot pegs on the WALLKE all-wheel drive H7. Now I gotta point this out real quick. The brakes and the rotors on here are phenomenal. If you need to stop, you will stop. The brake rotors are thick, beefy, and they're slotted. So if you do use those brakes a lot, you're not gonna heat those up and warp them. They are legit. These are awesome. Way better than a lot of the different bikes that I've tried. But what about suspension? Well, you got a full suspension on this bike. Hydraulic aluminum front fork. You got adjustable front fork damping. You got the front fork lockout. You got the dual rear shock absorber. So this is for off-road as well. You also got an adjustable seat, very easy to use. That seat flips up to take the battery out. We'll talk about that here in a bit. But if I want to adjust the height, I don't have any issues with doing that, and I can lock it back down. So size of people riding this, I think it's like 5'3" up to 6'5". These bikes don't look that big, but they're freaking big. The other thing I want to point out is the reason I love this and the Ultra H9 is because of the bat rays that they put in here. There's so many cool things about this, but how you take this out is you're basically going to unplug it. You just lift the seat up like I showed you before. And if you want to take this battery out, all you have to do is take one of the multiple keys they give you and turn it all the way to the left. That's going to unlock it, and you're just going to come over, you're going to grab that handle and lift it out. Now, you do not need to take this out to charge your bike. However, there's a really cool feature on this battery that they had on the H9 Ultra that I think a lot of people are going to love. So let's take a look at the battery real quick. First off, the casing, everything on here is built fantastically well. Really good job. Now, if you want the specs on this battery, well, here you go. It's going to be a 55 amp hour, 48 volts. So this is a pretty large monster. And then what's cool about this is that you don't have to have a special battery charger. You just take a standard cable that you go to your local hardware store if you lose it, and you just plug it in on the side. It goes right here, and this is going to charge it up. Now, I already have a fully charged battery. However, I believe this thing was charging at like 650 watts. They're saying it's like 6 to 8 hour full charge time. This thing charges very quickly, so I'm getting way faster than that. And I'll tell you another thing, I love the LED display up on top, so now you don't have to worry about just looking at the bars on the front display. You can actually look at the battery itself and tells you how much charge you're bringing in and how much percentage you have left on that battery, and that is freaking awesome. But wait, there's more on this battery. If you run out of power at your house or you're camping, whatever you're doing, you have an AC outlet now that you can plug something into if you need to charge a phone or if you need to run a light. I don't know what you're doing, but you have that on the one side. But not only that, you have the covers that will protect it from the water getting in. But look at the freaking backside. You're going to have a Type-C on the backside of this here. And you're also going to have a USB. So if you want to charge your phone, yes, you can charge as you were riding the bike, which is awesome. Again, you sit by the campfire, need to charge up the phone, there you go. But not only that, you can actually charge these batteries with solar power. So if you have a little solar panel at the site, well, you can charge it using that, which is freaking awesome. Now, this thing here, again, is not light. This thing probably weighs like 30 freaking pounds, this battery itself. But all in all, I mean, this is like a little portable power unit. So I think that's freaking awesome. And because it has that nifty little handle on there, hell, you could do a workout with you. Oh, yeah. I am old, weak, and feeble. But anywho, if you did take that out, it just slides back down in. Just make sure that you turn your key so it locks it back in. So now we're ready to ride this bike, and how you turn it on is pretty simple. Just turn your key to the right, and what's going to happen is you're going to see the LED screen, which is actually very bright. You can see this thing while you're riding in the sun. It's going to kick on, but it's going to say off. So you just come over here and hold the power button for a second, and you'll see once I press that, that's going to kick on the LED screen again. And the LED screen is bright. You can see this in sunlight, no issue, but there's a few different things going on. So you're going to have your battery indicator, you're going to have your trip over here, you're going to have your speed over here, and then this will tell you the different gears. So 1, 2, 3 gears. We'll explain that a little bit later, but you're also going to have this thing blinking. So you can see the back wheel is blinking. That's telling me I'm only using the back motor. So if I hold in the I button for a second, it's going to move to the front. Front wheel drive. Now, if I hold it again, it's going to give me two wheel drive. The two wheel drive, you're going to go the fastest. If you use the front wheel or the back wheel only, that's going to be the best bet for exercise. And I'll explain that in a second. But the plus button and the minus button, that's going to bring your gear from slowest gear, off, second gear, third gear. And then this right here, if you push this down, it'll walk next to you. You don't actually have to push this thing. And you also have a light button. You just push the light button and it'll turn on and off. When the light kicks on, the screen will dim. When the light turns off, the screen will get brighter. And as far as it goes with the light, you can adjust this up or down, but it turns on very easy, turns off very easy. Once you do adjust it, just tighten down the bolt and it won't go anywhere. All right, now that we got this all set up, let's go for a little ride. And I'm going to let you hear this thing and we'll test out the speed and all that good stuff, but here we go. All right, my best friend forever. So I'm going to let you hear this. You're going to hear a little bit of a whine, and that's coming from the microphone because the camera is literally mounted on the bike. The whine on this is completely normal. You're going to hear that on pretty much all the e-bikes. However, this is way quieter than a lot of the other e-bikes that I have ridden. This is something that you're not even going to hear in the neighborhood. All you're going to hear are tires hitting pavement if you were a neighbor. But something like this, that's a completely normal sound that you're going to hear on this bike. Now, another thing I want to state is that this bike here it's not the coolest bike for a lot of the kids, right? So my son loves his, but some of the other kids in the neighborhood, they want bikes that look more like a Sur-Ron or a dirt bike. This right here is like a cruising bike. They're a little bit heavier. This is not something you're going to take at 90-degree angles up off-road hills, right? This is not something like a Sur-Ron. This right here is a bike that you're going to be cruising on pretty much all day and just relaxing. It's built more for comfort than anything else. Now, I do want to point one other thing out. On the bike trail, if there's nobody around, I will test them and go a little bit quicker, but I usually operate these things pretty slow, around the 15 to 20 mile per hour range. I want to conserve my battery life, and I also just like to cruise. I don't want to fall and bash my head like a monkey jumping on the bed. That said, I still encounter Karens and Kens on the bike trail when I'm riding other electric bikes that just want to cause trouble. I'm going slow, but because it looks more like a dirt bike, they give me issues. This right here is actually more powerful and faster than a lot of the other e-bikes that I have, but they never say anything because it has pedals and it looks more like a conventional e-bike. So if you do have Kens and Karens on your local e-bike pass, they're probably not going to bother you with this if you're actually riding responsible. And I gotta complain about one more thing. When I do these e-bike reviews, I'm sure other people get this, I get a lot of comments from people stating that I should explain the rules and regulations on these bikes. Well, let me tell you, I don't know all of the rules and regulations for every state and every city and every municipality in the country. I just know mine. And if I'm riding on the road or the sidewalk with an e-bike, they're not gonna give me issues. That's like a big thing around here. Like everybody's riding bikes, right? Because who can afford a car or truck anymore? So that's that. All I will say is be careful, know your rules, know your regulations, and you know what the police in your area are going to say if you're riding this bike. Now, as far as it goes with this bridge might not look too steep, but it's pretty freaking steep. I will show you going at a complete dead stop. In two-wheel drive and even in single-wheel drive, this thing will go up these hills no issue at all. This bike has tons of freaking power. Now, they claim that this bike does 37 miles per hour. I will tell you, I'm 230 some pounds. Will it do that? Well, we'll check that out here in a bit. But this is an awesome cruising bike, and it's very comfortable. The seat is very comfortable. The suspension is actually set up out of the box better than my other bikes that I have adjusted. I don't know if everybody's bike's going to be like that, but this is a good setup on this bike. Like, good job, WALLKE, on that. Now, the bike trail is not that busy today. It's pretty hot, so I'm going to be able to speed up a little bit. I'll make sure that there's no kids around, no dogs or pets, no other people jogging or wearing their tight spandex with their pointy helmets. I'm going to make sure that I'm safe out here. The other thing I will tell you is on the bike trail here, we have a lot of road crossings. If I need to get across that road quickly, and there's hills, if that car comes over and I need to get out of the way, this thing got a lot of torque. I'm able to book across that street if I have to. So that's also pretty real nice like. So I already put down the range of this bike that they're stating. I will tell you that on the best day, with hurricane force winds blowing at my back as I'm going downhill and pedaling my butt off, maybe I will get that range. However, with my 240-ish pound frame, I'm not getting that. I'm probably getting about 30 to 35 miles on this bike, and that is with two-wheel drive and not even pedaling. I actually gain weight on the bike trails at this point. I might as well just ride around with a giant turkey leg hanging out of my face, because I sort of just like cruising, you know? What can I tell you? I'm old, weak, and feeble. With that said, let's test out the speed of this bike in each gear. Two-wheel drive, first gear, full throttle. Maxes out at 17.3 miles per hour. All right, that's the most I was able to get in the first speed or the first gear with two-wheel drive, 17.3 miles per hour. But let's now bump it up to the second speed. Second gear, full speed. Maxes out at 26.4 miles per hour. Third gear, full speed.
35.8 miles per hour. Final test.
All right, now this is a bike, so do you actually get exercise? Can you actually lose weight on this bike? Well, yeah, but here's the thing you need to know. So number one is if you're using two-wheel drive, I'm gonna let you hear this. If you use pedal assist, it's a little bit jerky when you're using two-wheel drive.
Gear 2, pedal assist. Gear 3, pedal assist.
So yeah, it's definitely jerky when you're in two-wheel drive. However, if you're using back-wheel drive or front-wheel drive only and use the pedal assist, it is very freaking smooth. Like, that is the sweet spot for this bike, and it works phenomenal. Like, not only are you getting exercise, you can adjust the gears, which I'll show you here in a bit, but it lets off. It's not as jerky. It lets off and eases out of the pedal assist, so it does a really good freaking job in the single motor type of setup. Now, as mentioned, this is for like a longer haul comfort style ride. The one thing I definitely have to point out to you though is that these bikes are not light. So if you do hit the brakes, the weight that you are trying to stop has a lot of momentum. So you definitely got to be careful on these bike trails where there's other people, or if you're just hauling ass down a sidewalk, you got to slow it down with these things, because I'm telling you, there's a lot of weight on these bikes. All right, here's a side view for you, and here's some more noise. This video audio is not edited, so this is what it sounds like. And I know I already touched base with this, but when it comes to the build quality, I never get nervous on these bikes like I have on other e-bikes. Like, there's no vibration or weird noises or weird things falling off. Like, I've actually had that with other e-bikes. I've never had an issue with any of the WALLKE e-bikes, and that's why I continue reviewing them, because they do a really good job. And by the way, this is the dead stop up the bridge. It's like a 30% incline, 25, 30, I don't know. It's pretty steep. It doesn't look like it, but yeah, it just takes that up, and I'm like barely touching the throttle. Like, this thing is going. Like, I'm slowing down here up on the top because I don't want to hurt anybody. But yeah, this thing, I'm telling you, I have so much fun on these bikes. All right, real quick, let me show you the pedal assist with only using one motor.
Assist in one-wheel drive, so back wheel, front wheel, way less jerky than in two-wheel. This is your true exercise mode right here. Front wheel, back wheel, single mode. Pedal assist works perfect. Well, less jerky. Sort of eases off a little bit when you let go of the pedal. But much better. Gear change, super easy to do. 7th gear, 6th gear, 5th gear, whatever you want. If I want to go back, all I gotta do is hit this button. Boom, boom. That's it. Half throttle, don't need your whole hand or wrist. Just ride it like that with your thumb. Horn.
You know, I always said that this type of bike here, this is like the Harley Davidson. You know, you got the crotch rocket sport style bikes like the Surons and stuff, but if you just want to cruise with the family, go on some bike trails and stuff, this is a freaking fantastic bike. Just remember though, it might not look that big on video or in pictures online. These things are pretty big bikes, but as far as it goes with safety, they're legit. You know what's not legit though? These freaking 360 cameras. I mean, no matter how I adjust my footage, I feel that these things come out looking like this and my face always looks just like dumb. Anyway, so let me show you what this thing sounds like. I'm going to set up my other camera here and I'm going to put the microphone on the camera. So you're going to hear the distance between the microphone like you were a neighbor standing out on your lawn watching me drive by. So as you can hear, super freaking quiet on these things. And the pickup and go on this bike is actually pretty legit. I mean, got a little bit of torque if you're in two-wheel drive. And yeah, my microphone's on. You just really don't hear this thing. All right, let me do one more launch here. Again, microphone's on. The lawnmower 3 houses down is way louder than this bike. And this bike also has some pretty real nice like ground clearance. So what do I think about this one? It's just as good as the other walkies that I had. And the other one I did like a year or 2 years ago, and I've never had an issue with that bike. The one I had in the beginning of the summer, haven't had an issue with that bike. And this one here, I'm hoping not to have any issues with this bike as well. They are phenomenal. They really do a good job when they build these. And there's so many different e-bikes out on the market. You definitely want to do your due diligence, but I'm just telling you, I love these freaking things. Are you going to need 2 people to assemble this? Yeah, probably. They're heavy, and it's just for everybody. No, younger kids like 10, 11. It's going to be too heavy for them, this bike. But as far as it goes with ease of use, everything is so simple. The display screen is bright. It works great. As far as it goes with mileage, are you going to get the recommended mileage? Yeah, if you're pedaling your butt off downhill, you know, but mileage-wise, it's still not bad. I mean, 35 miles on a 240-pound person riding this thing. I have absolutely no issues going where I want to go with this. Now, is it as cool as a Sur-Ron and those bikes that do 50, 60 mile per hour? No. Is this bike a cruiser and just something that, you know, people want to cruise around and be comfortable with? Yeah, that's this type of bike. And if you want to do a little off-roading with the bike, go with the 2-wheel all-wheel drive. It's going to be a little bit better for you on those type of terrains, but me and my family, we've just been having a blast with these things, and they have held up really, really well. The build quality on these things are great, and I'm really curious. I know a lot of people have these bikes. It's a pretty popular brand now. So what are your experiences with the WALLKE e-bikes? Is this something that, you know, I haven't talked about that you would like to share? Leave me a comment in that sweet comment section below. I'll try to put a discount link in the description as well. And with that, we'll be back with more videos soon.